Welcome, hello. Today I'm talking about the Plucky Squire, a little indie game that just came out, and I think it's really fun, and I just wanted to gush about it. So this is an indie game that came out this week, made by All Possible Futures as the game studio, and distributed by Devolver Digital, who's worked on a bunch of indie games and stuff like that. Anyways, this game is really charming and really cool. Basically, the main premise is that it's kind of very Zelda-like inspired. It's kind of a top-down perspective for the most part, and you're in this storybook called the Plucky Squire, and you're like an adventurer on a quest. However, there's plot things that happen that make it so that you end up outside of the book, and so you end up exploring the environment around this storybook in 3D space, and it becomes more of like a 3D platformer almost, a little bit kind of similar to a 3D Zelda game, but it feels a little more Mario 64 kind of vibes. And it's just very charming and engaging, and I really like it. It's my current favorite game, which could change at any moment, depending. But I'm absolutely had a blast playing through it. I just finished it yesterday, and I wanted to talk about it. It's really good. Oh yeah, I'm gonna show some gameplay here. So this is from around, I think, close to halfway through the game. There isn't really any major story moments that are here, but it might end up spoiling some of the puzzles. So if that is a concern for you, I don't know, maybe put this video on while you're doing some laundry or something. So there's your mild spoiler warning, but I won't go too specific into many of the plot things. So yeah, so this game is very charming and such a cool premise, so much imagination, and it's also like a story about telling stories, and it's a game celebrating creativity and inspiration. It obviously takes a lot of inspiration from Zelda, and like you have this top-down storybook aesthetic, kind of 2D Zelda kind of vibe to it, and it's very fun and charming. Like if the game was literally just this and just, it's got this cool storybook aesthetic and it's a fun little kind of Zelda-like game, even that would be I think worth your time. But because it has this whole other element to it that changes how you think about exploring the world of the game, and this meta aspect to it, it takes the whole thing to another level for sure. Like I never really got tired of jumping between the book and the real world and exploring this little desk. Like the outside world of the book, you're just on this desk in this kid's room, and it's really not a huge area, but it feels big because your character is really tiny, and I love that. It's so cute. Yeah, I think all the characters are super adorable. I want a little figure of Jot is his name, because he's an artist, or because he's a writer and he wants to be a writer. And so his name is Jot, and all the characters have like cute names like that. I think it's fun. I love his character design. I want a little Jot figure, please. I also want an art book or like a storybook of the book in the game. Please make that. I will give you money for that, please. So much charm and creativity in this game. That's the idea that I just keep coming back to. Yeah, I really just vibe with this game. I think it's super duper cute and super duper fun, and I recommend you play it. That's the short version of this. What I was finding interesting was that there's like a lot of like puzzles and that kind of thing throughout. You'll have to like go out of the book and get an item that then affects how affects the world of the book and stuff like that. Very cool mechanics. There's moments where you're jumping into other drawings and other artwork that's scattered around the desk, and that's cool to like mix different art styles together. I always love that concept. I think that's super fun. There's one level that I kind of want to spoil because like it's such a cool idea, where you need a bow and arrow for the level that is happening in the book, the section, the problem that you're dealing with. And so then you have to travel into the real world and look for something that might have a bow and arrow. And you find a, like, what is essentially a Magic the Gathering card of this, like, elf warrior lady. And then you have to go into the Magic card and then do, like, like a turn-based RPG battle minigame to face off against her and try to convince her to let you borrow her bow and arrow. Very, very cool idea. Like, that was the moment where I'm like, this is the best game. This is the best game of all time. I love this game. It's very cool. So cool. So creative. And, like, a lot of the puzzles are actually kind of simple mechanically when you if you, like, break down what's happening. So, like, for example, a lot of games will have, like, there's a door and a button, and you stand on the button, and then the door opens, but as soon as you step off of the button, the door closes, and then there's, like, a box next to the button on the ground, and you're like, ooh, I wonder what I'm supposed to do. So you'll get, like, a variation of that kind of puzzle a lot in this game, where basically it's that, but you have to travel outside of the book and then find something in the, like, real world that you can use to put on the button. It's like basically that kind of thing. So mechanically, it's not that complicated, but because it has this really, really unique flavor to it, it makes it feel more special. It makes it feel more unique than it actually is, and it makes you feel smarter for, like, thinking of the solution. The game just has, like, so much charm to it that even when some of the puzzles are mechanically not super complex, it makes it feel like more than it is because of the concept and the aesthetic and everything about it. The game is not super long. I want to say it's under 10 hours. I'm not sure exactly because I ran into some problems, which I'll get into in a second. But I think that's actually very smart. It's a game that doesn't overstay its welcome. It's very specific concept, and it executes it, and there's, like, a few different areas that you explore in the world of the book and in the area outside the book. And then it's done. Then it's done its concept, and that's it. And I think that's actually kind of refreshing to see a game not like not every game needs to be like 100 hours long, and I think that's really smart. Like, one thing I appreciated was that there isn't very complex combat mechanics or anything. And, like, there's no, like, stat upgrades you have to do. It's very, very simple. There's one form of currency, and you can upgrade your sword a couple things. You can get a God of War Thor style upgrade for your sword where you can throw it and then recall it and it comes back to you, and that's just always a fun mechanic to have. So I love that it's here. That's always really fun to mess around with. Oh, I also love that this took me a little bit too long to realize, but Jot, the Plucky Squire, his sword is shaped like the tip of a pen because the pen is mightier than the sword, you see. Do you get it? Do you get it? I love it. It's great. Yeah, so you can, like, upgrade a couple different of your attacks with the sword, and then you can buy the main collectible in this game, which is just concept artwork, which is perfect. It's a game about artwork and storytelling and creativity and passion and inspiration. So it makes perfect sense to just show some of the early concept art of the characters in the world and stuff and have that be the main thing that you're collecting. It fits perfectly, and, like, that's all you really need to show. It's great. I actually find it really refreshing that a lot of the main combat mechanics and things like that are not very complex. It's got a very, very unique flavor to its idea, and it executes it very well. And then that's it. That's the whole game, and it's good. I really hope we do end up with some kind of, like, sequel or something to this game, because it is so charming that I did find myself wanting to, like, play more once it was finished. It is very linear of a game, so there's not, like, a whole lot of extra side content to explore or anything like that, which is totally fine. But the concept of like jumping between different stories, I think, is so fun. And we've seen stuff like that before, but in this very cute aesthetic to it, made it super duper fun. So I would like to see, I'd be down to see them do more with this idea. The art style is so cute. I know I said that already, but like all the little animations are adorable. It really feels like a video game, but it feels also like you're playing this like cartoon or this storybook. Very, very cool. I like it. Now, I do have to talk about some of the glitches. This game is not perfect. I'm playing on Switch, so I may have a different experience than someone playing on Steam. I don't know. But I did kind of encounter quite a few glitches while playing through the game. This being an indie game, I'm much more willing to be forgiving on that aspect than on something that's like a AAA release, where if they were just given more time, it feels like they probably could have solved more of the glitches. However, I'm not going to lie and say that it didn't affect my experience at all. For example, I actually posted a short about this, but when I was first early on in the game, I experienced this glitch that seemed to just completely halt my progress, where early on, when you first leave the book, there's a short stealth section where you have to sneak past these beetles that are running around the desk. And for some reason, when the game like auto-saved and the little tutorial prompt that says like press A to sneak popped up, it just like froze the game and I was unable to move. I couldn't progress past that point. When I tried reloading the save, it didn't work. And then I posted a short about this, just being like, does anyone know what to do? Is this happening to anyone else? Has anyone else figured out how to like solve this? Because I was just like frustrated and stuck, and I wanted to play more of the game because of what I'd played so far was really, really engaging, and I really, really liked it. But I was really just over an hour into the game, so I really hadn't gotten very far yet. But I wanted to play more because I'm like, I like the game so far. And then eventually people online, many people also experienced the same thing. Eventually somebody figured out that if you reload the save history from the main menu, you can go back to earlier in that same level and then it'll load that section fine for some reason. That works. I don't know why. And I encountered some of various other glitches throughout my playthrough. Most of them were not that big a deal. There was one point during a mini game that I had to reload the save. The game just froze and crashed for some strange reason. Then I reloaded it and it was fine. So I don't know what that was. I'm not like mad at the developers. I'm not like really that frustrated with the game itself because the game is so charming and you can like feel the passion behind it. I really almost just kind of feel bad for the developers because I know, like, I can imagine how hard it must be to work so hard on something and then to have it come out and everyone is like, the game is broken and you just want to like show your game off in the best light, and so many people are like, help, it's not working. And I could see that being incredibly frustrating. I'm sure that's a difficulty that comes with like every release that releases on multiple systems or consoles or whatever. So when you have a game on Steam, you have to and then a game also on Switch, now you have to format it completely differently for this other console. So I imagine that's a challenge to do. And from what I've experienced, at least from seeing comments and talking to a few other people who experienced the same thing, most people are not like upset at the developers. They're more just like upset that they don't get to play more of the game, you know? Like, it seems like most people are like, hey, is there a way to solve this? There's something cathartic about being like, am I crazy? Why is the game not working? And then other people being like, oh no, I had the exact same experience. So there's something kind of cathartic about that, like realizing you're not crazy. And the developers have addressed this on like Twitter and stuff as well. They're working on trying to fix it. There's been a few other places that people have like encountered glitches that they're like, okay, like there was one I saw in chapter 6 where if you like put a block on this platform that moves, it just breaks it. It just breaks the puzzle. And they're like, yeah, don't do that. Just don't do that, and then it should be fine. So like the developers, it seems like they're genuinely trying to do their best to help people to play the game and have the best experience they can. And I'm sure they're working very hard to patch this stuff. But yeah, like I'm not really mad that like ideally I would have the game would be perfectly polished and play perfectly as it is, but it's any indie game is going to be a much smaller team, and therefore it's going to be much, any indie game that releases at all is kind of a miracle. So I'm just like I'm so impressed with how fun this game is and how charming it is that I'm really not like, I don't want it to seem like I'm upset at the developers or anything like that. I really, really had a good time playing this game. Yeah, so and from what I've experienced from the people I've talked to, the people that have been playing the game and fans of the game have been echoing the same thing of hey, I just want to play more of the game because it's fun, and I'm hoping that this gets patched soon. So that's it. But yeah, again, like I do have to address it because it was a thing. That being said, I still absolutely recommend this game. There are some glitches on the Switch version. I don't know how well the Steam version is doing, but maybe try that instead if you have the option. If you're playing on Switch and run into some trouble, try reloading a save. And also check out like the Twitter support page. They've managed to figure out some of the problems that, or at least workarounds for some of the problems. Also, they're working on it. They're doing their best. So like I still recommend this game completely, fully knowing that parts of it don't work. So take that with what you will. I think it's super charming and fun. I really want to get a little Jot toy because I think he's cute as fuck. And that's mostly it. I'm very curious. This game is so charming and feels so fresh, despite having like a lot of stuff that's taken from Zelda and from other games and other stories and stuff. So I don't know. I just like it a lot. I think it's great, and I love a lot of the themes and stuff about storytelling and inspiring people. Like this game oozes creativity and inspiration, and it makes me want to like be more creative and create stories of my own and that kind of thing. So anything that touches on that, I think is delightful, and I'm just very charmed by this game. I think it's great. I think you should play it. Also, I think it's interesting that we also have a top-down Zelda coming out, like 2D top-down view Zelda coming out very soon, and I think it'll be like, normally I would say it'll be a challenge to like beat this game in charm, but Nintendo is pretty good at what they do, and they usually have a few surprises in store for their games. So I'm also very excited to play Zelda Echoes of Wisdom when that comes out in a couple weeks. But I wanted to do a video about this because I'm afraid I'm hoping that this game doesn't get completely forgotten about when the new Zelda comes out. Because I think it's also incredibly charming and definitely has a very similar vibe. So if you like Zelda games, I think you should give this one a shot. And if you just think the art style is cute, give it a shot too. Because I think... Oh, also there's all these fun mini games I forgot to talk about that take on concepts and styles from other video games and other types of games and stuff. And I think they're all really fun. And they're a fun change of pace too. Like I mentioned, there's a turn-based RPG mini game, which is fun. There's also like a Punch-Out style video mini game at one point. At one point, there's a rhythm game that I was really bad at, and it took me a long time to get to beat. But otherwise was a cool concept. That's it. Go play this game. I think it's cool. That's it for this video. Thank you for watching. I'm hopefully going to have a lot of cool stuff in October, so look forward to that. Go watch my Karak video if you haven't already. Bye-bye!